Elon Musk, Jensen Huang, Tim Cook, Bill Gates, and Sam Altman all recommend the same book this year. It's called We Are as Gods by Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler. And it's not about which AI model wins or which company dominates. It makes one specific argument. The biggest problem in the age of artificial intelligence isn't the technology, it's the hardware running inside your skull. Here's what it actually says. I'm Alex. This is the Read AI. The book opens with a photograph. December 1968. Apollo 8 orbits the moon, and astronaut William Anders points his camera at Earth and presses the shutter. The resulting image, Earthrise, became one of the most reproduced photographs in history. Seeing it, Stuart Brand said, "We are as gods, and we might as well get good at it," meaning humans already have the ability to change the course of this planet. The question is whether we have the wisdom worthy of that ability. 58 years later, Diamandis and Kotler named their book after that statement, and they opened it with a single sentence from biologist E.O. Wilson that frames everything that follows. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. That gap between what we've built and what we're equipped to handle is the argument the entire book is making. And in 2026, the year AI began writing most of the code at the labs building it, that gap has never been more visible or more urgent. The most practically useful section is a framework called the 6 Ds. It describes the stages every exponential technology moves through and why we consistently fail to see disruption coming until it's already happened. Digitalization. When something becomes digital, it enters Moore's law, performance doubling and cost halving roughly 18 months. Deceptiveness. This is the most dangerous stage. The technology looks like a toy. Performance is poor. Established companies don't engage, but under the surface, it's doubling. Disruptiveness. Once the curve crosses the inflection point, old industries collapse cliff-like within years, not decades. Dematerialization. Things that cost money become cheap or free. Cameras, voice recorders, maps, calculators, all free on your phone. Today, AI is making the marginal cost of writing, design, and code approach zero. Disappearance of physical form. Products move to the cloud. The screen itself may be next. Popularization. Something previously accessible to a few becomes available to everyone. Power disperses. New opportunities emerge. The warning is about stage 2. Kodak engineers invented the digital camera in 1975. Management looked at it and called it a toy. They watched pixels, storage, and computing power doubling year after year. When the inflection point arrived, it came fast enough to end them. ChatGPT launched in November 2022. Meaningful displacement in translation and content work appeared within 2 years, not gradually, cliff-like. The question the book leaves you with is the most important one you can ask in your own industry. What are you currently dismissing as a toy? This is the section that made Silicon Valley uncomfortable, and it's probably the most important part. The argument is this: evolution equipped humans with a brain approximately 200,000 years old. That hardware was optimized for avoiding predators and tracking prey. It has one fundamental flaw for the era we're living in. The brain is linear. The world is now exponential. Diamandis identifies 3 specific biases that become dangerous in the AI era. Negative preference. About 2/3 of the neurons in the brain's amygdala are specifically designed to detect negative stimuli. The brain is far more sensitive to bad news than good. The global extreme poverty rate dropped from 38% in 1990 to 10% in 2024. Global life expectancy increased by over 20 years since 1960. Your brain doesn't register either of those as meaningful, but it registers every layoff headline immediately. Near-term preference. The brain systematically overweights recent events and underweights long-term trends. AI-related jobs are up 340% over the last decade. Developer productivity using AI tools is up 50%. You feel neither of those things. You feel the last bad news cycle. Status quo preference. You know you should engage with AI, adapt your skills, and lean into what's changing. You're probably not doing it at the rate you know you should.
That's not laziness. That's your brain actively protecting you from change, because in the evolutionary context, leaving your territory meant genuine risk of death. The solution the book proposes is counterintuitive. Don't try to eliminate the biases. That's neurologically impossible. Instead, recalibrate the reference frame. Your brain automatically compares today with yesterday, which makes everything feel roughly stable. Compare today with 10 years ago, no ChatGPT, no AI that writes code or generates images, no gene therapy restoring vision, and the scale becomes impossible to deny. The final section describes what Diamandis and Kotler call abundance mindsets, specific cognitive orientations that can be trained, 5 of them. A curiosity mindset, keeping your pattern recognition open rather than defensive. Curiosity is driven by dopamine. It's the primary defense against missing the toy stage. An abundance mindset, in the specific sense, replacing zero-sum competition for existing resources with focus on expanding what's available. Exponential technology is structurally anti-zero-sum. When the marginal cost of creating drops towards zero, the question becomes what new markets you can build, not how to capture more of existing ones. An exponential mindset, training your brain to expect non-linear jumps, not as optimism, but as accuracy. The 6D pattern is empirical. Expecting it is simply more correct than defaulting to linear projection. A longevity mindset, recalibrating time horizons. If health span genuinely extends into the late 80s and 90s for people alive today, entering a field that takes 10 years to master stops being a sacrifice when you have 40 more years of productive work ahead. And a flow mindset, the trained neurological state associated with peak performance. Kotler's own research shows flow is sustainable and learnable. In an environment changing faster than linear processing can follow, reliable access to flow may be the single most durable cognitive advantage available. The title comes from Stuart Brand's observation after seeing Earth from space. We are as gods, a species with Paleolithic emotions running tools that would have been described as divine a generation ago. Diamandis and Kotler aren't asking whether AI will replace humans. They're asking whether we can control ourselves, whether we can upgrade the observer, the human trying to navigate an exponential world from inside hardware that was built for a linear world. The technology has already made its case. The question is whether we're getting good at it. Subscribe to the Read AI for just the stories that actually matter. Drop a comment. Which of the 3 brain biases hits closest to home for you? Negative preference, near-term preference, or status quo preference? I want to know. Share this with someone who needs to hear that the problem with AI isn't the AI. I'm Alex. I'll catch you in the next one.